Hello and welcome to another edition of Tuesdays with Liz, a disability policy for all. Today we have the great fortune to be talking to Tina Campanella, who is the Executive Director of the Quality Trust for Individuals with Disabilities. And she's also a friend of mine. Today we'll be talking to her about supported decision making and also the International Disability Month. Thank you. So thank you, Tina, for coming in.
Thank you for having me, Liz.
The first question I wanted to ask you is, can you explain to the audience the difference between supported decision making and being a guardian to someone?
Okay, that's a great question. And I think the first thing I'd like to say about those two things, supported decision making and guardianship, is that they're both ways to assist people to make decisions in their life. And so oftentimes when we come across a new situation, we rely or go to other people to help us understand what's important about the thing we don't know anything about, and get assistance with kind of making that decision in our life. The big difference, however, between guardianship and what we're calling supported decision making is that guardianship takes people's rights away. It's actually a legal process that you have to go to a court, and the court actually takes guardianship over the person and then appoints someone to act in the role of assisted decision maker. So, I think that there's a lot of misunderstanding about guardianship and how good guardianship looks or works. If guardianship is done in the best possible way, it looks a lot like supported decision making. And the National Guardianship has actually come out and said that.
Thank you. The next question is, how does the principle of supported decision making apply to people with the most significant disabilities?
Well, we believe that everybody communicates and everybody expresses choices, and that it's our really responsibility to understand what those choices are. Some people who don't have words or who may have a lot of physical challenges may be difficult for us to understand. But that is, we believe, the major job that those of us who work in the business of assisting people with disabilities have, is first and foremost to understand what people think is important in the world, and when they're happy, they're sad, they're comfortable, uncomfortable, and those sorts of things. And supported decision making is really just a process of using that information to guide how the person's life goes. So we believe everybody should have the right to have control over their life, and that assisting people with the more significant disabilities to direct what happens to them is really critical.
Thank you. This show is about policy.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the policies that we've been really working on is CDRP. And since this is the month of the International Disability Month for people with disabilities, I understand one of the reasons why CDRP, why we at the United States hasn't ever ratified CDRP, is guardianship or supported decision making. Can you explain to us what is the connection between those two things?
Sure. Well, supported decision making actually comes out of Article 12 in the CRPD. And there are a lot of places around the world that are actually farther along in implementing the principles in a widespread way and making that a tradition. Quality Trust has been very blessed to be selected as the lead in the National Resource Center on Supported Decision Making, and we're really one of our main goals is to create a national conversation about this issue. Many people are passionate about guardianship. Many families think it's important that they continue to have access to guardianship in order to protect their children. That has become, I think, one of the things that scares people about the CRPD, is they think it's going to take guardianship away, or the option for guardianship away. And so part of what we've been doing as part of, in our conversation with folks is saying to people, there are options here, and clearly you want to use the least restrictive option, for supporting people in all cases. And in fact, in our talking with many families about the issues of supported decision-making and guardianship, what we found is they don't really understand the process. They don't have all the information they need in order to make the best decision for their families. So I've seen, when I've talked to families, and I think our lawyers here at Quality Trust have seen, that oftentimes when families understand how guardianship really works, they make the decision not to do that and look for other alternatives to assist their family member.
Thank you. Is there anything that I missed or that you would like to talk about supported decision-making?
Well, I think I just really emphasize in the end that this is a discussion, that it really requires all of us to participate in. Supported decision-making is not a thing. It's actually a way of thinking. So we need to shift our way of thinking to say it's really important for people to have control in their lives. And whether or not we use supported decision-making or guardianship, that should be the goal for us, is we really should enable people to live the life that is the most meaningful and satisfying for themselves. So that's really the conversation or the issue that's at the bottom of all this.
Thank you. If you have any questions about this or any other policy issues, please go to the AUCD webpage and look for this week's In Brief. And if you have any questions about this edition of Tuesdays with Liz, please leave them in the space below. Thank you again, Tina.
Thank you, Liz.
Bye.